as we are here to listen to Mr. Peace. I am very excited for what he's going to share with you today. So please make sure you're being a wonderful and respectful audience, and I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Peace.
All right. Just to wake us up a little bit this morning, I'm going to start with some hip hop, if that's cool with you guys. Yeah. It's great to see you guys. All right. So listen in, Glengary, look, check it. Pure love, automatic, the impact it makes is the same type of influence I want on people's pain. The only way to do it, sing for the moment. Yeah, the only way to do it is scheme for the broken and remain a proponent of peace. Have a plain spoken, knowing it's up to us. Yeah, we are the chosen few. So let this burden get strapped with a rope tied tight to the small of my back. I carry weight similar to the smallest of ants, up to 50 times what I weigh. How about that? So we sing for the kid that has no voice, cause as a child of love, you don't have a choice. It's an obligation to promote inner peace. What the Dalai Lama says, our job is human beings, so we never stay idle. If need be in sight, a riot, we speak out loud. We don't stay quiet, but we only keep it verbal, no throwing a punch. Even if the bully takes your money, no free lunch. Just know a bunch of us are called to a vision and helping each other. Now a part of the mission, so do not despair and never lose hope. Even when you think you can't take another mean joke, need help with the monsters, then you're calling Dick Tracy. If you're looking for love, you found him, Mr. Peace. So sing with me, sing for the years, sing for the laughter, sing for the tears. Sing with me, just for today. Good, take your way. All right, now we're warmed up. That's how I wake up every morning. Different beat on my alarm clock. I just start freestyling. I'm joking. But it's great to be here with you guys this morning. My name is Kevin, or Mr. Peace. I see some of you guys wearing the peace signs in support. So thank you for doing that. I got my peace sign on the back, too. And I have an awesome job. I'm a full-time youth minister at a church here in Michigan. But my off days, I get to travel this country, and I get to speak to schools all over the U.S. I get to talk to people from age 5 up to age 105. And before I begin any of my talks, before I start to speak, I'd just like to let my audience know and let all of you know that every single breath that I take this morning is going to be worth your time. How many of you guys would like a $20 bill? Okay. All right, just a second. And you guys still want this $20 bill? Okay. All right, one second. Hold on, one second. Can you hold this? All right, 1 second. Let me see. Let's go.
I'll give you $20 for a $20 bill.
Right there. All right, yep, she wanted it. Give her a round of applause. She wanted it. All right, give me 5, 4, 3, 2, peace. So look. The reason I bring up this example, right, whether I crumple this $20 bill up, crinkle it, wrinkle it, tear it a little bit, sneeze on it, chew, whether I have LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, just stop, slam dunk on it, right, it's still worth how much? $20. Like I told the first group today that we can take this $20 bill to any bank, even though it's dirty, it's been stepped on, kind of torn, take it to any bank and they'll give us a fresh, crisp, clean, brand new $20 bill, no questions asked, right? And all of you, most of you at least, were all like, me, Mr. Peace, Mr. Peace, I'm your homeboy, come on, Mr. Peace. And I'm like, and I just met you, but like, most of you guys wanted that $20 bill, no matter how it looked, no matter what condition it was in. But what I see happen too often in the schools that I visit across this country is that when it comes to people, they're not the right size in our minds, not the right shape in our minds, or Maybe they were born differently than us. Maybe they can't hear as good as us. Maybe they can't see as good as us. Maybe they can't talk as good as us. Maybe they can't walk as good as us. Or they're not as good as us at a certain sport or an activity or a skill. Or they're from a different place where they were born. They speak a different language. They have a different skin color. Sometimes we're not as quick to accept everyone like we would accept our own best friend. Like they're worth a full $20. And if we don't do that, Glengary, if we don't accept everybody for the outside and what's on the inside, we cause people a lot of pain in here, a lot of hurt. Today's topic's about diversity. What do you guys think diversity means? Anybody? What's diversity mean? Yeah.
It means doesn't matter what color, like where they're from. If they're still a person, like
Doesn't matter where they're from,
Doesn't matter what
skin color, they're still a person. Right. Kind of like my shirt says, right? One race, human, or human beings. Anybody? Yeah. What's diversity? So when one person's different, whatever that might be, we don't make fun of that person, right? So just because they're different, we should still accept them as our friend. Yeah.
I believe that we should all accept everyone and give them a second chance.
Accept everyone, even give them second chances sometimes. What was your name? Maybe nice to meet you. Yeah.
It's okay to be different.
It's okay to be different. Yeah.
Even if you're different, you still treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yes, you still treat people the way you want to be treated if someone is different. Anybody else? Yeah.
It means treating people the same and not different.
So treating them the way you want to be treated, kind of like the golden rule, right? So look, someone mentioned this in the first assembly, but do you think life would be pretty boring if we were all the same? Okay. So how many of you guys are good at dancing? One of those moves. How many of you guys are good at singing? All right. How many of you guys are good at drawing? Okay. All right, hands down, hands down. How many of you guys are good at sports? Some type of sport? Okay. All right, hands down, hands down. So look, Glengary, hands down. All of this is diversity, right? So like you were just, what was your name? Reese, like Reese was saying, I mean, diversity is on the outside. It's our culture. It's what we wear. It's how we dress. It's the foods that we eat. It's our background. It's our skin color. It's if we were born with some type of handicap, physically, right? But it's also on the inside, too. It's our personality. It's our skills, our talents, our abilities, who we are, our character, right? All of that's diversity. And we have to be able to accept both the inner and outer diversity of everyone. Otherwise, we're causing a lot of pain in here. Everyone go like this real quick. Go like this. Make a fist. All right, now go like this. Don't do that. But listen, this right here, your fist is as big as your heart, right? Unless you're the Grinch who stole Christmas, and then it depends what time of the movie. But look, idea is that your fist is as big as your heart. And if we let love and kindness and compassion, respect, acceptance, peace enter into here fully, we can turn this into this. And the reason that it's two, because one finger is yourself, and one is someone that you're trying to lift up higher than yourself, if you choose that. It's also two because in just 2 seconds, in one heartbeat, one word, one action, we can actually empower someone, encourage them, lift them higher in the clouds positively. That stays on their heart for the rest of their life, right? Or we can also destroy that person by something we say or do in 2 seconds in one heartbeat, and that stays on their heart for the rest of their life. It's a question of whether we choose to celebrate diversity. You got it painted right in your wall in the hallway today. I passed it when I was coming in. And we have to make that choice, right? So I want to prove this to you through a story, but I need a couple of volunteers. So I'll take you. Yeah. I'll take you in the back. I'll take you. We'll take right there. Yep, come on. And we'll take right here. All right, come on up. Give these guys a round of applause. The story is probably about what game? You guys, baseball. Okay. So look, true story. There's a kid named Shay who's in elementary school. And he's walking home from school one day with his dad about 30 minutes after school. And it's warmer outside than it has been here, right? And he's walking home and he sees some of his classmates playing baseball, right? And so he's walking, it's about 30 minutes after school, got out, he had to stay after for something. And he tugs on his dad's shoulder and says, Dad, you think if I asked them to play, that they'll let me play, right? And his dad said, oh yeah, sure, go ahead, Shay. Go ahead and ask them. But in his dad's mind, he was thinking they're probably going to say no. Because you see, Shay was born differently than a lot of us. He was born with one leg shorter than the other. So when he walked, he kind of had a limp. And when he ran, he couldn't really run that fast. He wasn't that good at sports or that athletic. He also learned a lot slower than a lot of us, right? He was born that way, with that type of disability. And he was getting made fun of quite a bit for it. But regardless, his dad said, yeah, go and ask him. So Shay goes up to these guys. It turns out it was the last inning of the game. Game was tied. There was 2 outs. So now his dad's really thinking, they're going to say no for sure. But he goes up anyways and asks him, he says, guys, do you think I can play? And one person says, not today, Shay. Maybe next time. One person says, Shay, you're just not that good. And then one other person says, hey, Shay, why don't you just get lost? So Shay's about to leave, turn to leave, and then this one boy steps forward and says, Shay can be on my team. Shay can have my spot. And the person whose spot he takes is the person who's up to bat next. Look, Shay's never really held a bat before, right? He's never really played baseball. And needless to say, he's going against Justin Verlander. No, I'm just joking. But the guy was good. And so he's like thinking, how am I going to do this, right? But he goes up to the plate, and the first pitch comes, just nice and easy if you want to toss it. Nice and easy. Pitch 1, swing and a miss. Strike 1. You can roll it back, okay. Pitch 2. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. 3 strikes. You're out at the old ball game. Buy me some peanuts. Okay, sorry. Okay. And then goes pitch number 3. That's nice and easy. Shay connects, barely. It rolls right back to the pitcher. He picks it up. And it's going to be an easy out, right? I mean, the pitcher could probably walk and tag Shay out. He's not that fast. But regardless, they say, Shay, run to first, run to first. So Shay starts running to first base, and the pitcher starts to walk after him towards this way, okay? And the pitcher finally tosses it to the first base. But he bobbles it, and it goes towards tape on the floor, and then so they say, Shay, go to second, go to second. So Shay's going to second. He's having to dodge 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. It was a weird setup that day on the baseball diamond. And so they say, Shay, go to second, go to second. And Shay's going to second, and the first baseman throws it to second. And shortstop throws it. Throw it. Yep. He hesitates, then he throws it. And she kind of bobbles it, and the guy sitting there gives it to her, but so she throws it to shortstop. But she kind of bobbles it, and it's hot potatoes, like, oh, hot, okay. They say, Shay, go to third, go to third. So Shay's going to third, and then so she starts chasing after Shay. All right, and then so she finally throws it to third base. She throws it to third base, but it goes over her head towards the speaker and the stage, and they say, Shay, go home, and she's coming towards home, and she throws it to the catcher, but it's not in time, and Shay hits the base, and his team wins, and they pick him up on their shoulders, and they all say, Shay, 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 Shay. And they're so happy because his team wins. Give these guys a round of applause. Good job. So look, guys, this story, this pitcher literally could have walked and tagged Shay out. The first baseman could have walked and tagged Shay out. He was that slow. Second base, shortstop, third base, they all could have tagged Shay out if they wanted to. But they didn't. And the reason they didn't is because as soon as that one boy stepped forward and said, Shay can have my spot, it changed all their hearts. And how long do you think it took him to say, Shay can be on my team? What do you think?
I don't think it took him that long because he was excited.
Not too long, maybe a couple seconds, maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds, right? And what it did is people started not feeling sorry for Shay, but they understood what was going on, that who won and lost wasn't as important as including this person, as celebrating his diversity, being a leader, showing him kindness, compassion. And from that day forward, Shay wasn't only accepted on that baseball field, he was accepted throughout the entire school by all of his classmates. They saw past his disabilities, his outer diversity, and they looked more towards the heart, right? Which is a choice that we can make as leaders. So listen, this act of kindness, it's demonstrated in this video that I'm about to show you guys, okay? I want you to pay attention because in the video, what you're going to see is how one act of kindness just kind of starts to snowball, and more people kind of start to treat people with kindness. Pay attention to how old these people are, what their gender is. Pay attention to how much money they have or don't have. Pay attention to their skin color too, okay? So, what'd you guys see? Yeah. So they gave food, so someone that was kind of wealthy gave something to someone that was poor, right? Yeah, what did you see?
Like peace passed through one person to another.
Peace was passed from one person to another to another. Did you guys notice who was the first person that was helped? Who got helped the first? Even before the older lady, who was it? On the skateboard, right? And who helped him? Yeah. Construction worker. And who was the final person to receive the act of kindness? The construction worker. So it came full circle back to him. Now what you guys see here too is that no matter how old someone was or young, no matter whether they were a boy or a girl, no matter what their skin color was, no matter how much money they had or didn't have, they were all helping each other, right? So they were seeing past all of that, and then it started changing their hearts, like the peace that was passed along. Who said that? What was your name? Nathan, that was awesome. Where they're passing the peace and the kindness along. But sometimes, you know, certain fears or hurts get in our way and pain in our heart, so sometimes we push that onto other people by how we treat them poorly. There's a story, one of my friends who was a teacher in Detroit, a professor at a community college, and one day before class, he decided he was going to sit outside, and it was really cold outside too, about 2 blocks from his classroom entrance. And everybody had to pass him to get to this class, right? Blink it on like that, get a scarf, won't put all that on you too, or get a hat on, coat, got some crutches. So he had kind of the whole 9 yards, right? This blanket, crutches. He wanted to really show people that he looked like somebody in need, right? He also had this sign that says, "Need human kindness." Can you hold that? Need human kindness. So he had his head kind of down, and people started to arrive for class. He had 60 students in his class that semester. 60 students in his class that semester, and they started to arrive. And so one person went by, and as soon as they saw him, they kind of, out of the corner of their eye, decided to I'm going to go on the other side of the street. Hopefully he doesn't notice me, just walk on that side of the sidewalk, and then I'm going to come back around nice and slowly and tiptoe, and okay, now I'm in class. They didn't want to pay him any attention, didn't want any potential conversation. One person started walking by, and as soon as they got there, they took a fake phone call from their mom. As soon as they saw him, they're like, "Oh, yeah, hey, mom, yeah, hi, good to see you. Yep, okay, bye." And then some people even went as far as to tell him, like they told Shay, to get lost. We have class here today. They called him a bum. They said, get a job. They said all these things to him. Out of 60, take a wild guess, how many people showed him any kindness? How many do you think? Yeah. One person stopped by. They asked him what his name was. They gave him a banana, a little spare change, said, "I'll be thinking of you. Have a great day." So after everyone arrives to class, he gets up from his spot, and he walks in to go teach his class, still dressed like this. And he starts to take off the crutches, and he starts to take off the blanket. He still has the sign with him too. You can hold it up, thank you. Need human kindness, and they realize it was their professor. How do you think the 59 people that didn't show him any act of kindness or compassion or peace or respect felt? How do you think they felt? Yeah. Guilty? What else? How do you feel?
I always felt like really bad.
Really bad. Yeah, what else?
I felt horrible.
Horrible? Yeah. Embarrassed? What else?
I felt like they were terrible people.
Terrible people? Yeah.
I'm in trouble.
I'm in trouble?
Ashamed.
Ashamed?
Dumb because they didn't help.
Maybe dumb because they didn't do that, yeah.
Kind of like shocked.
Shocked? What else?
Upset.
Upset? Yeah. Disappointed maybe in their action? Yeah. Really sad. And one more. Same thing. What did you say? Sorry. So when we're born, right, goo goo gaga, when we're born, our hearts are like this empty cup, pretty much empty. And we're free of any pain. We don't have any fear towards anyone else. We haven't been taught something to like not talk to that type of person because that's what they look like or where they're from. We haven't been caused a lot of pain because people haven't appreciated our diversity by calling us names, right? We haven't had any hurts. But little by little, our hearts, like this empty cup, they start to get full. And full of this pain, kind of a dark color, right? And what's going to happen if I keep filling this? It's going to overflow, right? And a first grader said it was going to explode. I said, no, it's not. But the idea is that it could overflow onto us, that we actually kind of believe what people have told us about who we are and our worth, if it's negative. Or even worse, we can push it onto somebody else. Kind of like these 59 people did, right? Kind of like the people did with Shay at first, where they didn't accept them at first because there was a lot of hurt going on in here. But Glengary, look, no matter how full this gets of pain or hurt, fear, there's always room for love if we let it, if we choose that. So it's true that hurt people hurt people. Everyone say that? Hurt people. Right. And what I mean by that is that the easy thing to do as a human being is, if I'm hurting in my heart, is to push that on someone else. The hard thing to do is to forgive and replace that with kindness and love. So it's true that hurt people, right? But like Martin Luther King Jr. said, we just celebrated his birthday pretty recently, right? He said, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate can't drive out hate, only love can do that. So there is always room for love if we let it. So it's true, yes, hurt people, but it's also true if we allow it to happen. That healed people heal people. Give these guys a round of applause. I want to say this too, healed people heal people. And what I mean by that is that this is somebody that's chosen to forgive some of the hurt, move past that, and now become healed enough to go and help and heal other people by how we treat them with love. But see, there was a counselor one time at a school in Indiana where I spoke, and she interrupted my assembly. I was talking up here, and she said, "Hey, Mr. Peace, I'm so sorry, but I just got to interrupt you for a second. I got to share something with everybody." And she was an elementary school counselor. And she said her first name was Kate, and she said her most painful memory was back in second grade. And she said it was right before lunch, and Kate was the new girl at school. She didn't have a lot of friends. She got teased a lot. She was definitely not popular. But this group of popular girls that she knew were popular, pretty cool, came up to her and said, "Hey, Kate, you can sit with us today at lunch." And she's like, "What? Really? Is this a joke?" And they said, No, just go get your lunch and then come sit by us." So Kate gets her stuff, and she goes to sit by these girls. And as soon as she sits down, they all stood up on their chairs. And they shouted across the lunchroom, across the cafeteria, so everybody could hear them. They said, "Hey, everybody, check out Kate. She can't even afford nice clothes." And she dropped her lunch, ran out crying. Kate's parents didn't have a lot. And moving to this new school, there were times she had to wear the same outfit even 3 times a week to school. And she was always getting put down because of that part of who she was and her family and her diversity. But she chose to become healed, to forgive them. She became an elementary school counselor, so that would never happen to her students, especially the second graders, on her watch. She became healed, right? To help other people. Then I was in California, about to sign out in this office. In the main office, I'm checking out for the day, signing out. And this third grader comes up to me. Where are my third graders at? Third graders? Okay, hands down. He comes up to me. His first name's Dominic. He said, "Hey, Mr. Peace, do you want to know when my most painful memory was? I said, yeah, tell me. He said it was back in first grade. Had my heart crushed by this girl. And other people too, but mainly this girl. And so I'm thinking to myself, at first I was thinking, kids are starting to date younger and younger. Maybe, did she break up with him? I was thinking all these things. Was it Facebook official? And all this stuff was going through my mind, but it turns out that wasn't what happened. It turns out he was on the bus, and for a couple months straight, this one girl in particular, this 5th grader, would turn to Dominic and say, you're never going to have any friends. You're never going to have any friends. And she did it mainly because of his race. And so he said he went home that first night, and I mean, you think about a 5th grader and how much you look up to them when you're in first grade, literally because they're taller, but just because you think they're cool, right? Like you value what they say. And she kept saying, you're never going to have any friends. He went home the first night, cried himself to sleep, said, Mr. Peace, I didn't want to go back to school again, but his parents said, no, you have to go back. He said it felt like his heart broke into a billion pieces. He said, Mr. Peace, it felt like I didn't want to be born. But then he said something to me that I'll never forget. He said, but you know what, Mr. Peace? I said, what? He said, now I have best friends. Now I have best friends. How many of you guys have best friends? Show of hands. Okay, hands down. So listen, why is that person your best friend? How come? Why is that person your best friend? Yeah.
Because he's always been really nice.
Very nice to you? Why else? Why is that person your best friend?
Because stuck up to me first day.
He stuck up for you?
Yeah, so my skin wasn't as
For the same thing with Dominic, yeah. They always love your jokes, even though they're not that funny. Yeah. So if you're feeling down, they cheer you up. Yeah, what else? They show you concern, care, thought, yeah. They're with you? Yeah.
They're always there for you, like they don't just stop
So they support you. Yeah. They understand what you're going through, or they understand you. Yeah. Get you through hard times. Can trust them. So even if you get hurt, they're going to help you back up. Yeah. They're forgiving. They don't lie to you. Yeah. Respect your differences. Yeah. Share your feelings. They respect you. A couple more.
She's
Always there for you. Yeah.
She always just like makes me feel better.
Makes you feel, cheers you up. Yeah.
He makes me laugh.
Makes you laugh too. What else? He's got your back.
All our friends always being nice to me.
So
When
they,
someone's not nice.
so they really respect you. Can I see that $20 bill real quick? Okay. I'll give it back later for some gas or ice cream. So look, guys, just a couple minutes ago, most of you, has said, Mr. Peace, you wanted this $20 bill. But none of you mentioned that person's my best friend because of how much money they have or don't have, what the brand name is on their clothes, what kind of house they live in, what kind of car their parents drive. How come nobody mentioned all those things? How come nobody mentioned those things? Why? Doesn't matter? What are you going to say?
I was going to say because that doesn't give you any compassion or love.
There's no compassion behind that, right? It's just kind of like a fake friendship, yeah?
Because if your parents had all that money, doesn't mean that, like if you're very wealthy and your parents aren't, it doesn't matter.
It's how they treat you, right? What else? Yeah. Yeah, right there in the pink. A friend that hurts you is not a friend, so regardless of all this stuff, yeah. What else? Right? And a true friend's not going to put you down, right? They're going to see what's inside. Yeah. Doesn't matter what they wear, it's different. What else did Martin Luther King Jr. say? He said something about having a dream, that one day his children wouldn't be judged because of the color of their skin or what's on the outside, right, and stuff. But the content of what? What was it?
The content of
Their character, who that person is, right? So everybody close your eyes for a second. Close your eyes and point to yourself. Close your eyes and point to yourself. So as I'm looking around, and you guys can open it back up. One time I forgot to say that. A second grader kept them closed the whole time. But listen, you guys open your eyes. Most of you are pointing. Usually 8 or 9 out of 10 people are pointing right here, which is your heart. And sometimes the only thing people remember you for is your heart, or want to remember you for, but not if you're adding more pain to someone else's, because it just adds more to yours too. But people that treat people with that kindness, with that love and respect, all differences, all diversity, that's the people that we want to remember, right? But it takes, it's not easy to see people for this. First, there's a girl named Cheyenne. Cheyenne's the capital of? Cheyenne's the capital of? Anybody? Do you know what state the capital? Wyoming? What? Anybody? Wyoming. Yep, somebody said it. Wyoming. So listen, Cheyenne, that was a geography lesson for you guys for free. You're welcome. But listen, Cheyenne came up to me after my talk. There was a school in Wisconsin where she was from, and she was a 5th grader. Where are my 5th graders? Okay, hands down. And Cheyenne came up to me. She said, "Hey, Mr. Peace, a girl moved to our school a few weeks back. Her name's Jenny, and she's in a wheelchair for life. She's in a wheelchair permanently. She's paralyzed from the waist down." And the first day that Jenny got there, Cheyenne's friends told her, said, "Don't even talk to her. She's different. She's weird. Don't even go up to her." But Cheyenne didn't listen to them. She still went up to this girl and said, "Hey, do you want to be my friend?" And the girl said yes. And ever since that day, lunch, recess, library, gym, she includes Jenny. And she said something to me. She said, "Mr. Peace," like the wisdom of this 5th grader, she said, "Mr. Peace, when I see her, I see this. Before this. I see her heart before this wheelchair, before this piece of equipment." Right? I was speaking at a middle school here in Michigan, not too far from here, and an 8th grader came up to me. His name was Kellen. He was tall as me, 6'4", 6'5" on my good days. But he comes up to me, he says, "Mr. Peace, a girl moved to our school this past fall. Her name's Sarah. She has burn marks all over her body. So her and her mom got trapped in a house fire. They both made it out alive. The house burned down, and she ended up getting a lot of 3rd-degree burn marks all over her body. Since the house burned down, they had to switch school districts, go to a new school, get a new house. And her first day at this new school, she walks through the doors. And it's before the main bell rings for people to go to their class, so everyone's in the area. And Kellen sees her walk through the door. And Kellen, being tall as me in 8th grade, star quarterback of the school, most athletic, most popular. Everybody's watching his move. And he ends up walking towards her, says hi. In his next words, he says, "You're with me." Which meant nobody will pick on you. Nobody will tease you. Nobody will put you down. He could have gone up to her, said she was ugly, called her all these names because of how she looked on the outside, but he chose a higher path, a path of peace. And everybody followed that. From that day forward, she was accepted. Certain people have more influence, right? Some of us need to stand up for some people that don't really have a voice, or don't have as strong of a voice as we do. And it takes a lot of guts and courage to be able to do that, right? To see someone for their hearts. There's a speaker named Nick Vujicic. Everybody say Vujicic. Say Vujicic. I know, isn't that fun? So Nick Vujicic, he's in his 30s. He's from Australia. He's about this tall. He has a wife, a couple of kids now. He's married. But he's about this tall. He was born without any arms or any legs. He has no arms, no legs. He has a show on TLC now. You guys might have seen him. Anyways, Nick speaks at schools too, and he was talking to an elementary school about, the gym was about twice this size, where he was speaking to them at. Had bleachers on one side of the gym. And at the end of the talk, when people started to leave, the teachers and students started to exit, this mom that was at the assembly with her 3-year-old daughter watching, she let her 3-year-old start to run around because it was the end of the talk, and Nick was off his wheelchair on the ground hugging people and saying hi and bye to everybody, right? Well, we all know what 3-year-olds do, whatever they want. And so this 3-year-old starts to just skip and hop and twirl and float and starts running full steam all around the gym, right? And she's about the same height as Nick. And eventually she's running right towards Nick. Doesn't even see him. And he sees her coming, but he can't move. He doesn't have arms or legs. And he's like, oh no. Just going to brace for impact, right? And at the last second, she's running full steam, and she catches him out of the corner of her eye, and she slams on the brakes. And they're face to face. And she takes a step back. She looks him up and down. She says, what's going on here? She's never seen anybody without arms and legs, right? But her next move, without really thinking, she puts both of her arms behind her back like this. And she hugs him with her neck like this. And it was so awesome because that's the only way that he can hug, right? He doesn't have arms. But she didn't care about how tall he was. She didn't care about whether he had arms or legs. She didn't care about the brand name of his clothes, the Abercrombie or the Aeropostale or the Old Navy or the Nike or the Under Armour A or the Hollister A or the Victoria's Secret Pink A, even though a lot of the clothing isn't the color pink, but it says the word pink on the clothing A. And so she didn't care about that. She just cared about his heart. And it was beautiful, right, that she was able to have the courage and the guts to do this. Maybe the single act of courage, though, of somebody truly appreciating diversity, being a leader, showing that kindness, despite other people that might have made fun of them, was a school in California. There were 2,000 students. 2,000. A few more than Glengary Elementary, right? And the gym there was about 8 times this size. And listen, at the end of the talk, this girl who was kind of like Shay, she stepped on the mic. She went up to the stage because there was a part where you could share your heart. There was an open mic. You could talk about what's on your heart. And this girl started walking to the stage. And she was born also with a handicap where she kind of had a limp when she walked. And she learned slower than her classmates. And she was always getting teased and put down because of that. But she gets on the microphone, and the first words out of her mouth, this was a high school, she says, I like boys. And everybody's like, what? Oh my gosh, what are you doing? You're embarrassing yourself. She's like, no, I love boys. And they're like, oh my gosh, sit back down, what are you doing? She's like, and I love that boy. And she points, right, to the star football player of the school. This guy's California dream boy. He's got like Hercules, golden mane locks flowing down his backside. And he's an ESPN top 100 recruit. He's getting recruited by all these colleges to play quarterback, 5-star All-American recruit. ESPN top 100. And he's so cool, like when he walks through the hallways, they just part because he's so cool. Like he just walks and people are like, ooh. Ah. And that's how he walks, right? And she points to that boy. And right then and there, he has this choice of whether he's going to join in on the laughter, because by this point, everybody's laughing, right? Even some of the teachers are laughing because this is like too funny, right? And he has a choice to join in on the laughter or do something that could potentially change a life, even save a life forever. So in front of these 2,000 students and teachers, he stands up in the bleachers part, and he runs down across the gym and up on the stage, and he scoops this girl up and twirls her around. He sets her back down, and he gives her one of the biggest hugs she's ever had in her life. And what happened next took 3 hours. For the next 3 hours, every one of those 2,000 students and teachers that were just ridiculing her, embarrassing her, putting her down, they came up one at a time. to give her the same type of hug, to apologize, and give a word of encouragement, to celebrate who she was, her diversity. It took 3 hours. And you can't begin to imagine the impact it had on this girl's life, right? There was a kid in Utah, he had an oversized head, he had Soto syndrome. So it's what's called a cephaletic head. His head was bigger than the rest of his body based on his body size. So his head was really big, right? And he got on the microphone, he was a 5th grader. He got on the microphone, he said, "I didn't mean to be born like this. I didn't mean to be born like this. I need friends. Will someone be my friend?" And his sister in the back of the auditorium and 2 girls, they jumped up and ran down the aisle. They gave him the same type of hug that football player gave to her. And it started the same chain for a couple hours. People came up one at a time. Some that were just putting him down. To include him, right? To appreciate who he was. But it's not easy, right? Everyone go like this real quick. Put your hands together like this. Now what I want you guys to do when I say go is to move your pinky location up 1 and then relock your hands, okay? So I'm going to do it slow motion, okay? You guys see what I did? All right, so you got your hands together like this, and then you're going to move your pinky location up 1 and then lock your hands back together. So try that. So go from your regular position, move them up 1, lock them back together, and just shout out, how does that feel? Weird? Awkward? Different? What do you guys automatically want to do? Go back, right, to your comfort zone, some of us. See, I'm comfortable both ways. There's a couple of you like that too, right? Because I've been doing it so much. But guys, it's the same with diversity. It's the same with treating people a certain way, that if we make this a habit, because all this is a habit, right? This is just a habit. As soon as I said to do this, you went to what's comfortable to you because you've done it so many times. But if we can consciously really think about how we treat people, that this becomes one of our main goals, to provide human kindness to everyone we meet, no matter how they look, no matter where they're from, no matter what they're doing. We can make this world truly a better place, right? And what did Gandhi say? He said to be the change that... Anybody know what Mahatma Gandhi said? Be the change that you wish to see in the world. So it starts with each of us. Kind of like what Nathan said, we pass the peace on to each person. And it keeps going. And look, we have to do this, guys. Someone made me this jacket. Bless you. This is Mr. Peace's swag. But anyways, this jacket, see, it says, Mr. Peace. There was a student I spoke to, and she knitted this, see, Mr. Peace, and on the front, Mr. Peace, right there. I know, it's pretty cool. Thank you. But listen, her story was that she only had one friend in school. She had one best friend. And if her friend was ever absent, she felt so alone and so different. And she was so scared that she could never go and try to make another friend. And people didn't see that she was actually hurting inside of her heart. So when she got her lunch out of the lunch line, she'd excuse herself and ask to go to the bathroom. And she'd take her lunch into the bathroom, into one of the stalls, and lock it, and she'd eat her lunch there alone. Because she was too afraid to reach out to anybody. And everybody else was too afraid to reach out to her. Or they had too much going on in their hearts that they couldn't even see that she needed human kindness. I just spoke to a school in Highland, an elementary school, and after my talk, a second grader came up to me. She was crying. She said, Mr. Peace, I just moved to this school, and I'm getting teased every day just because I'm tall. And that's how I was born. I can't help it. And she said the first day at school, she tried sitting down at this one table for lunch to make some new friends, and as soon as she sat down, everybody else stood up and walked away to another table. So she tried the second table, and she sat down, and as soon as she sat down, they all walked up to another table. So she tried the third table, and she sat down, and this boy looked at her and said, you can stay. You can sit here. And they became great friends. And all of us have that power to do that. But that requires not us just seeing people for their heart first. It's seeing people for this. Every one of you has the letter M etched on one of your palms. On one of your palms, one of your hands, with the hand lines of your hand, you have the letter M on there. If you can't see it yet, your teachers can help you. They can spend the rest of the day helping you. But this M, Glengary, this M stands for Michigan. I'm joking. This M, I was in Columbus, Ohio doing an assembly and I said that and I almost got kicked out. But listen, this M stands for miracle. Upside down is worthy. But you know what? I meet a lot of students that say, Mr. Peace, I don't see that in myself. I don't see myself as a miracle. There was a student that I just spoke to, and I ended up laminating this. He wrote. He had this with him, where he carried this with him almost every day. His name was Dylan. And written on here, he said, I'm a mistake. He was told that. He was very short. He had a different background in terms of his upbringing than a lot of the students at his school. And he believed this. But the day I spoke, he said, Mr. Peace, I don't want to believe this anymore. I want to believe this, that he's a miracle. And sometimes it's people like us that have to show other people that by how we treat them, if we choose that, right? And guys, these bracelets that I wear, I pick about 10 or 12 to put on before every talk. And I have thousands of these. I've talked now to over 500,000 youth all across this country the last 10 years. But every one of these bracelets was given to me by somebody your age or older that said, Mr. Peace, you really touched my heart today. Thanks for being here. And sometimes I get 20 minutes with some students, sometimes I get a full hour. But if I can touch your heart in that short amount of time, think about the impact you guys can have on people's lives over an entire school year, over an entire lifetime, if you choose it. These become my armor and my strength and my reminder for what I do, right? And that's a choice that all of us have. If anybody, something I shared today touched your heart, can you just raise your hand? One of those stories or something I shared touched your heart in some way? Thank you. You guys can put your hands down. So what that means is that at Glengary, you were given a gift. And now it's up to you to go and share that with your classmates, with your family, with your community. Okay? And I know you can because I see the leaders and I get the heart vibes. I can tell people that are willing to do that and spread the peace. I'm going to be here for all the lunches today. So if you guys want to give me some Cheez-Its, I'm joking. But listen, I'm going to be here for lunch today, so if there's something that you want to share that's on your heart, we can have some one-on-one time. And if we don't have time today to talk, all of you guys are going to be receiving, I'll give them to your principal and she can put them in your mailboxes. You guys will all get one of my cards. It says Mr. Peace, right? On the back side is my Instagram, Mr_Peace_Geese. Why geese? Why not? Mr. Peace 101, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, MrPeace.net. You can download all my music for free on my Bandcamp site too. So look at, if there's something we don't have time to talk about today, but you want to reach out, something on your heart, I don't always get back to you right away, but I always get back to you. That's my promise. Just to recap, everybody say, heal people, heal people.
Heal people, heal people.
Say, look at the heart first.
Look at the heart first.
Say, have courage to do what's right.
Have courage to do what's right.
Say, I'm a miracle.
I'm a miracle.
Say, celebrate diversity.
Celebrate diversity.
I want to just close with another hip-hop track. We got time for one more real quick. And the mic check. Glengary, 2 fingers up for peace. All right. Just rock from west to east. All right, so listen in. Here's how it goes. Listen. D-I-V-E-R-S-I-T-Y. Have to respect what's on the outside. So do it, please. Cause we're all human beings, I'm saying. Here at Glengary Elementary, we appreciate appreciate the dignity of everyone. Yeah, diversity is fun. Yo, it's all so important and it's cool. It's what brings life to our schools. So we have to open our hearts, yeah, we must, to others who are different than us. Cause sometimes our closed minds, they bend and shield us from meeting new friends. Only cause we only look at skin color and don't care about what's within. So no matter who you are or how you look, you just gotta pay attention to this book. So Glengary, hey, I'm saying here is the deal. I'm saying D-I-V-E-R-S-I-T-Y. Have to respect what's on the outside. So do it please, cause we're all human beings. I'm saying here at Glengary Elementary, we appreciate the dignity of everyone. Yeah, diversity is fun. It's fun. Could I mention it's fun? All right, thanks for touching my heart, guys. Hope to be back one day. Thank you.